Welcome, everybody. Dr. Thor here, the Man Who Talks to Machines. Get ready for Gnosis. Well, I rediscovered this book. I read this many years ago, and you can tell how dated it is when you're using the term psionic, which really isn't used at all anymore, except for the very uninformed or ignorant. Even though I've always liked the term psionic and psychotronic, psychic, electric, psionic, psychotronic, mind, machine, is much better than the very poor terminology we use today, with terms like radionics, which means what? Radio signals. Really poor understanding. Of course, radionics is another dated word, as is the practice of radionics, which is comically simplistic. But psychotronics has always been interesting. Mind, tronics, etc. But it is really rarely used today at all because of what's happened with radionics and its bastard child called orgone, which has toxified the society and been introduced by people that wanted to poison a lot of people. And of course, the whole subject of orgone, I'm not going to go into right here. I've discussed that before, but these are very bad energies that have done nothing. From the discoverer of orgone himself, Wilhelm Reich, who pretty much wrote in all his books of how worthless it was and how sexually obsessed he was. But this is a fantastic book as a foundation for manifesting science and the use of occultons and psions, which is what the world is made up of. It's very simple. I keep things simple. I could write 10,000 pages on what occultons and psions are and confuse the issue like a real dumbademia experts always do, making it appear to be complicated so you, the average person, are dependent upon their stupidity. And this, of course, is done by doctors, lawyers, and everyone else to make things difficult when it's really very simple. But this is a great book that really talks about the energies we're using and states the fact, J.H. Reiner, this was originally published in 1979 with George Lawrence and Carl Upton. A really fantastic book that goes into occulton fields, how to measure them, what it's all about, what actually psionic medicine is, which really comes down to homeopathy. Now, homeopathy is fantastic, and it describes the energy fields that we want to work on. Unfortunately, homeopathy has been destroyed like everything else, taken by a lot of ignorant people that know nothing about the energies, can't explain them, etc. Just like all those people, I don't understand what radionics is. Huh? Do you understand that you are a dummy? Because these things are not difficult. They've been explained, and vital force energies are something that has been known and used literally for hundreds and thousands of years as it goes into many areas of success science. Which are using these energies. Basically, the foundations of creating everything come from these scalar type waves. Now, when we get into scalar, we're talking about the real definition of scalar, not a lot of the stuff that has been talked about by dumbademia. Scalar waves are non-electromagnetic informational energetic forms. Let's make sure we keep it straight and simple. As I said, you want that $10,000 page book? Well, I certainly could write it. For what reason? Just like all the other garbage literature that's out there. So we have to keep that in mind. But this goes into the core of it, and it explains that as well. And the author talks about this. And we should start using the correct terminology, which I will be. First of all of this area is based in the manifesting sciences. Now, manifesting science is everything. What you try and do in life is manifest, whether that's manifesting higher consciousness, greater well-being, finances, etc. It's all about that, and there's many different tools and methods that you can use in the manifesting sciences, and there are different tools of different levels and different power levels. And the bottom line is that people don't understand the energy and have been really using very low level psychic crutch tools like the radionic type machines, no matter what's in them or anything else, because there really isn't anything in them, and they're not producing any kind of electromagnetic fields, and they basically aren't producing much of anything. They are a very low level. If you're using a machine that you dial, it's a very low level empowerment tool. Virtually nothing is happening there. What you're doing is psychically focusing and sending your intent to whatever that target is. As I said, it could be finances, it could be for higher states of well-being, it could be for wisdom, etc. There is no limitation to it. If you understand the science of manifesting, you will survive and prosper. And if you use my tools, it will be even better. This book, of course, goes into how to sense things. It has a lot of chapters on well, here's even on dental medicine, but it goes into illnesses, extrasensory perception. It talks about dowsing, medical dowsing. Very, very good book that really, I'm going to make this a required reading for all my students. And what is interesting about it is this book is still in print. I was kind of shocked by this. I bought this used copy off of a used bookstore, but it's available on Amazon in which I did get a copy of it just today, as a matter of fact, in Kindle, so that I can listen to it as well. It's something that should be studied over and over again and pick out the chapters that you need. But what's essential, because of the fact that there isn't any direct bogus meters like we have for the very primitive electromagnetic, that you have to learn skills. And there's a reason for this. You're dealing with the energies, the vital force of life itself and the creation of the universe, which is staggering, the kind of energy that's really there. Many people call this dark matter and so forth, which is permeating the entire universe. Why? Those are occultons, and they manifest what psions, or intentions that bang into them, so to speak, blend together to start creating matter, wherever it is in the universe. And as soon as you understand that, but how do you measure it? How do you use it? Well, I have all sorts of technology, but one of the ways is being competent in the use of pendulums, as you can see right over here. Here's a whole bunch of pendulums. There are different types, and the art of using a pendulum is just that. You have to understand what you're doing. You have to bring up your sensitivity. That's what manifesting science is all about. It's training your higher self as well, and screening out a lot of the dumb idiots out there that really would use anything for wrong and evil purposes, which has been going on since the beginning of time and really been perpetrated more in the last 20 years by people who are misusing all this for their own very perverse needs. But let's first, have you got a poignant question going on? You need an answer? Well, let's get a little bit of wisdom from actual Buddha. These are Buddha cards, and there's always something fascinating to be found here. There are 3 solutions to every problem. Accept it, change it, or leave it. If you don't accept it, change it. If you can't change it, leave it. Again, I find that very profound. Okay, that's very good, and we're always getting good. These cards are amazing, Buddha cards. And also, do you have a question, or is there something in life that's bothering you? Well, why don't we let Yoda give its opinion? What do you have to say about it all, Yoda?
Difficult to say. Always emotion is the future.
So as we go on with all these things, we have to understand what is the real nature of everything in life. And we keep being misled into the physical, the stupid, the mystical, basically nonsense that the entire population has grasped upon in one way or another, which is some sort of silly philosophy or some sort of even sillier religion. Because after all, you need a daddy and a mommy. You got to make sure you get on your knees and praise and give money to people, and you're going to get what at the end of it, since they've never proved any of it. And this goes for all religions, no matter what they are, because they're all bogus and a waste of your time. You need to be active in your life, and you need to reach higher levels, and you will be guided by your higher self of what is best for you personally. So as we look at this and we look at the structure of nature, well, everything is made of occultons. These are the vibrational energy fields that form all matter. Now, homeopathy started out, and the original homeopathy was pretty good, but it started to move into a very nebulous, terrible field with the people that got involved with it, and then started to make homeopathic preparations using radionic machines, which is totally worthless. So what you're doing is putting an intention or psychic thought into something, and whether it's a little pill or whether you're dialing a machine, that produces very low-level results. Original homeopathy was actually using vibrational energies, mostly from toxic substances, to force the body to work harder to take care of a particular problem. This has turned into everything now as homeopathic, which means it's just some sort of vibration created in some sort of way that none of these people understand how to use. Homeopathy today is extremely weak, even done in its original form, and needs an awful lot of greater empowerment. And there's a whole system of proper or modern use of homeopathy, which I've talked about a little bit in the past, and we'll be putting more into it. And of course, you have to do things like make sure you're using liquids. You should be inhaling these liquids, using an inhaling type simple little machine that you can get everywhere for a low price, so that you put the liquid preparation in there, you inhale it, with a salt preparation into the body, which makes it work much better. That's number one, because we have to get it deep into the body, not put something in your mouth, even if it's drops, and certainly not a physical preparation. This just doesn't gain much results. And homeopathy in the recent years has been really destroyed by pretty much all factors in the world. Everyone, where it was semi-popular in Europe, has now stopped funding any homeopathy whatsoever because they're not getting any results. And they're not getting results because they're not doing it right. Isn't that always the case? Most of the time, you take something that is valid, using the vital force of creation, the energetic field that creates all matter. It has to start somewhere, and that's where it starts. So that was the whole idea, is to get the actual vibration or the beginning occulton energy into whatever it needs to change. And then you change it with your psions or your particular intent on what that's for. So it's very fascinating. How do you do all this stuff? And how do you use these types of machines? Well, it boils down to the fact of first learning how to dowse properly. Now, I offer several really of the top pendulums out there on my website. And of course, when you buy a pendulum, you get access to a complete page of training information on how to use that correctly. Very few people can use pendulums correctly. And even if you're getting some results, these results require a lot of mental conditioning, learning what you're tapping into, etc. It's just not turning the dial and getting a clockwise spin, meaning yes, and then going from there. It's a lot more than that, and if you don't dowse correctly, you're going to get poor results, whether you're tuning something or trying to extract information. Now, the information that is critical in your life is the information of the scalar fields of something. What is the non-electromagnetic energy there? Is it good for you? Is it bad? How do you test it? Again, this is the building blocks of everything in the universe, and it is well worth the time to develop your skills in dowsing and what you should do right off the bat. And this book really goes into it. Here's a great part of it. Simple exercises with a pendulum preparatory to medical dowsing. And of course, this is geared towards working on your energetic body ultimately to extract or develop physical results. Here's a simple pendulum that was made by the author, and it gives you basic exercises here. Let's see if we can find that other chart. Simple exercises with the pendulum. So the whole idea is that you always, when using a pendulum, also have to understand what you're doing, and you should not be influencing anything, be prejudiced to the results. Now, he goes into clinical cases here of the use of so many things. It's a really fantastic book, and even though it's very old information, this kind of information is never outdated. So you can always use this, and you have to get the basics down. And most pendulum work has not changed that much, and it's about you developing your skills and, of course, using the correct pendulums, which vary per what you're doing. I mean, most people like to start off with, which again is a misnomer, because if you're using metal, but most people like the weight of metal and are easy to get results initially. But the bottom line is that, the metal pendulums, and here's an excellent one for radionics, again, are there to pick up electromagnetic fields, which tend to be a problem. As your sensitivity grows, you want to use something that is going to pick up the much more subtle energies, and generally that's wood. Now, the shape isn't all that critical, even though the shapes, depending on what you're doing, can be very helpful. Like this shape, which is using actually a clear quartz crystal, and it has this kind of point at the bottom, the pyramid, and a crystal here. The pyramid tends to suck energy up and is amplified by the crystal here. So if you're trying to find the energy of something, this is an excellent pendulum to use for sensing energies in particular, if you want to find out something is good or bad, because this new shape, I find, is very accurate, even though you can get accuracy with wood and, of course, with metal as well. But metal, as I said, is starting off, and of course the shapes do different things. Round balls tend to be very helpful. I find energies that way. You have a point here, and again you have a point here, and this kind of pulls the energy up into there through using that. And that's some of the pendulum information. I've made several videos on that, and these are something everyone should check and watch. And of course you should like and subscribe to this, and you should support us on Patreon. This is the only place you're going to get really hardcore accurate information from. Everybody else seems to be in a delusional state. So pendulums are something that everybody should get used to and use all the time. You can check whether a food is good for you. You can check a medication. If you're taking a supplement, you can check and find out if that's good for you. And you can also, once you find out it's good for you, you can get down, should I take 1 tablet? Should I take 2 tablets? Etc. So these are the type of things you can refine. You can only refine or sense these scalar waves through the use of this type. Now, I have many other what you could call scalar meters, which I will be releasing in the future, as well as technology that works with scalar fields, amplifies them, and projects them out to your particular target. All of this is critically important when you get into it. And this book, of course, gives you all that information, explains a lot of the science behind it, as so forth. So it's rare that you're going to find something like this written by someone who obviously knows what they're talking about. And pretty much all of this book is pretty accurate. So even, because, these vital force energies, because, people, again, use the wrong words. Anybody who uses subtle energy is someone who doesn't understand it, because there's nothing subtle about this energy. It's vital force energy. It creates everything in the universe. So to call something subtle shows you that person is not subtly stupid. He's directly stupid. And you're going to get this kind of misinformation throughout your entire life. And this is a big problem because people have been trained poorly and know nothing. As we have people building these radionic instruments based on original designs made in the 1920s, which is absurd. A lot of them are based on an ignoramus who knows nothing about the field whatsoever and has written a bunch of crappy books on it. So, I mean, all the stuff that you get out there, your biggest problem is finding a source that knows what they're talking about. Well, if you're listening to this, you've found the source who does know what he's talking about. So, and everything that I produce and all the courses and all the machines and everything else work well and have been for over 35 years that I've been in this. And I've been researching the entire field for 55 years, ever since I was a young boy. So I know exactly what's going on, and I've been able to test, prove, and know what works and what doesn't. And of course, you have to learn the basics and where you start off with, no matter what tools you're going to use, whether it's going to be some sort of machine or some sort of symbolic energy, or so many things out there that can be used to empower everything. And you've got to empower everything you do. If you're not empowering what you're doing, you're only using psychic energy. You have limited your manifesting capacities to a very low level. But those who are psychically strong and can focus and send those energies cannot be underestimated either. Your basic psychic energy, which basically works through the fact of connecting to occultons with the psions you produce and then making something happen in the physical world, whatever that may be. So you can do this psychically, but it's very old-fashioned and kind of silly when we have technologies that are very advanced to assist you in this process. So if you're not using some sort of machine, some sort of advanced symbolic tool, then you are really limiting what you can do. And this is why people get discouraged, is that they're not seeing results because they're really pushing out what is extremely low-level energy. And you have to do mental or psychic you have to pump psychic iron, as I like to say. So, you have all these capacities in you, but you have to work the psychic muscle. If you're not doing that through different psychic gym techniques, well, you're at a very low level, and most people don't manifest much of anything. When you use a dial machine, you're using something of a crutch. Nothing is happening there. My special system of using discs has all these empowerments built into it that are then amplified through unique and proprietary technologies that I offer. But if you want to get a good foundation, this is the book to get. This is the book that you can get to give you that foundation. I also have courses, of course, which show you step by step how to do your psychic gym work, what manifesting is, etc. These are all very powerful tools. And like everything else in life, you need to learn and you need to build your personal empowerments. And you have to understand the process. You have to get over what kind of negativities you have. You have to unlearn a lot because what you do know and what you've been told by so many people is wrong, and you're letting this control your life. You have to find truth. You have to unlearn all the garbage that has been pushed into your head. You have to get rid of these toxic crap machines that so many people have, particularly connected to orgone and orgonite, which are poison machines developed by Satanists to make you ill and connect you to demons. And this is unfortunate, but it is true. But there's lots of good information out there on some of the basics. Many of it you can obtain free. But as I said, you can get this book in Kindle on Amazon for a low cost that I highly recommend. It is all here in terms of understanding these scalar energies, because when you get into homeopathy or any of these energies, these vital force energies, they are not electromagnetic, and this is a low-level, poor thinking that mankind could easily stumble upon to then be measured, which they think that's the only energy out there. That's pretty ignorant and a buffoonish way of looking at life in general. So there's a lot more to this reality, and it certainly has nothing to do with the electromagnetic. These are very good to, of course, power your toaster and your refrigerator. When we get past that, it becomes, well, what can these electromagnetic fields do? Well, they generally tend to fail, and we are living in a giant electromagnetic soup that doesn't make it any easier. So until you get down to the actual energies of creation, the occultons, and then create psions to control the occultons, you are missing the boat. This system works fantastic. I've been using it at higher and higher levels and have manifested amazing things from extreme well-being to extreme wealth. It's all possible if you know how to use the technology and use the right technology. But if you get caught up in goofball little boxes of of garbage filled with little chips, or empty in general, or based on 1920s technologies, or machines built by the delusional Ruth Drown. All of this stuff will lead you down the wrong path. These are okay little starts, and particularly for those to kind of look back upon as giving you some basic information. But the bottom line is this is old, dated technology when we're living in a very advanced scientific reality where we even have contact directly with machine intelligence. And we're not talking about AI, we're not talking about computer programs, we're talking about actually directly communicating with machine intelligence, which is now possible with my technology. So I hope this has been informative. This is certainly something that everybody should read. Going into great detail here of what's in this book and everything else other than what I've done is kind of a waste of time. You got to sit down and read it. And fortunately, and one of the nice things about modern times as well, is the fact that you usually can find these things inexpensive or right on Amazon, that you don't even have to get a physical copy and have another brick to carry around. You can actually get it in Kindle format, which will read the book to you, and also is low cost and in every aspect. So I hope you've enjoyed this. Watch for more fascinating information coming.